All right, it's hockey time again, and I'm sitting here with, from everybody in the Desert Southwest will know this man next to me, Ryan Ostertag. Ryan, welcome back to the show. We had a chance to visit last year. We're talking a little bit different this year, but welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about, well, let's first back up a minute. You came thinking about playing one more year here at Arizona State, and then a few days ago you made a decision. I saw it on Facebook, and I thought, you know what, we got to talk about this. So tell me, first of all, what the thought process was about your decision, and tell us what the decision was.
For sure. I ended up retiring from hockey a couple days ago. It was a tough summer for me to come to that decision, but I love hockey so much, and this program means an incredible amount to me. So having another year with my brother was really the determining factor in me coming back. But in the end, my body's taken quite a beating over the past couple of years. So just kind of making a safe play and the right decision just to hang him up.
And just to clarify for everybody that knew about your illness last year, it wasn't the illness last year that triggered the decision?
No, that was really, I got sick for a couple months there, just a crazy virus, but I've taken a couple concussions, especially since I've been here, that was the determining factor. That was the concussion issue. So I'm just trying to set myself up for real life and on a healthy note.
So tell us a little bit about things. I know a couple of weeks ago you were kind of leaning towards coming back from what I was hearing, and then was there one thing or just a culmination of things that added up to it?
Yeah, definitely an accumulation of things. Like I said, this summer was difficult. I didn't really have a clear-cut decision made, but you know when you kind of get those like signs from the universe, just like little things, and just since being here for the past like 2 weeks, school starting and stuff, just like little things that just made me feel like it was the right choice, and I kind of came to the conclusion and told my parents, and they were pretty happy about it because that's what they eventually wanted me to do. They want me to be healthy, which, yeah, it was just the right decision. So
it comes down to health versus hockey, and health wins out
every time.
So let's talk a little bit about your career. You know, growing up in Canada, and tell me a little bit about your playing career and things that you remember about hockey in general growing up.
Yeah. I guess back home, for people who don't know what Saskatchewan is, it's a very small rural communities, and hockey's that's it. Like that's what we have, and if you're not a hockey player, you're not really anything. So I was fortunate enough to be raised in a family. My grandpa played in the National Hockey League for a few years, and he kind of made me love the game and fall in love with it at a super young age. I started skating. I asked my mom the other day, she said when I was like 4, so it's been like 21 years on skates. And
right.
Yeah, so many memories of like small towns, like living at the rink, living at the outdoor rink. People don't really understand that in Arizona. We have outdoor rinks at home like every few blocks, and practicing there every day, and yeah, like just incredible memories of the game when it was for fun. So it's cool to remember it like that back then, but things obviously changed, and I fell in love with it more as time went on.
So tell me, what drew you to Arizona State? You and I talked about this last year, but for people that didn't see that or haven't heard, what drew you to Arizona State?
Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing coming out of junior, so my family had always, my grandparents, the one that I just mentioned, had a place down here in Scottsdale, so we came down here every year for vacation, every Easter, so I was kind of familiar with the area. I didn't even know that ASU had a hockey team until I was 19, and Ben Finley, I'm not sure if you know him.
Yeah, I know Ben.
He was one of my good buddies. Met him playing juniors. He's from my hometown. He came here and he told me all about it, and like you don't really need to sell much. Like I love Phoenix as a city, and just hearing his stories and experiences is a no-brainer for me. So I almost stayed home. I almost went to the University of Regina, but I'm so thankful that I ended up in the desert, and yeah, the rest was history.
Well, part of the reason I wanted to have you on was you've kind of been a mainstay here. You've seen some things in the desert Southwest over the last 4 or 5 years that have been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your freshman year here when you win the national championship. What was that like coming into the freshman year?
Yeah, that was something else. I actually talked to Powers a couple days ago, sat down and discussed hockey a little bit, and just talking about how the stage they're at now with the NCAA program, they're kind of getting to the point where I came in as a freshman with the ACHA program. So I saw all the glory. Like everyone was so good. The program was built up, and like it was easy for me to just come. It wasn't easy, but I worked my way into the lineup and stuff, and was lucky to be successful on the ice. But there were just so many good kids that were already in the program that paved the way for us. And my class was 15. Like we had an incredibly big class and so many good kids, and there's just like that year was something magical. Like we just knew we were gonna win from the very beginning, and it wasn't cocky. Like we've talked about this before, but it was just this like knowing of just we knew we had it what it took, and we brought it every single game. So it's a year I'll never forget, and it's a year that I kind of use as a judgment of like comparing other years, so like what it takes to be a champion.
So anytime you win a national championship, I don't care what it is, at what level, you've had to beat some pretty good teams and some pretty good competition. And I think people now look at it and they saw like last year and they saw how difficult that is. But explain how difficult it is to get to that D1 tournament and then actually win the thing.
Yeah, well, getting to the tournament is a feat in itself for sure. And like I mentioned, the program had a lot of success the couple years before I came. Like they were 4th seed, 2nd seed, and they ended up losing in the first round or second round. So I mean, when we got there, like we had to play four very hard games, and especially because it's a tournament format. Like, if it's a 7-game playoff, like it's a big different story. But if you win 4 games on 4 consecutive days or 4 and 5 days, like it takes a lot of depth, and it takes a lot of coaching, and it takes a lot of mental stability from the players. So like that setup and that what it takes to win. It's never the best team that wins. Right. It's just the team who's ready, and we were ready.
Yeah. I hear you. So we get through the national championship, right? And we're coming down to a decision, right? At the tournament's over, you come back with the trophy, you have a celebration, and then all of a sudden, boom! The next day, literally, you're talking about NCAA hockey.
Yeah.
It happened quite that fast.
Well, I think it caught it even caught Powers by surprise. Like we always thought we knew it was like a possibility, but like it takes an incredible amount of money and time to put something like that forward. So when a couple things came into place, and it was like, oh my God, like this is happening right now. So it was super cool just to like be on. I think I'm so fortunate to be on that side of things and on the other side, just to see it grow and be on both teams. So like that I'll never forget that press conference when they actually announced it. Like that was really cool.
And you guys then had an opportunity to play that hybrid season, which you were a big part of as well.
Yeah.
Had a chance to play over at Gila River, had a chance to travel around and play some big name programs.
For sure.
Did you see an immediate difference between the two levels?
Yeah, for sure. Like the NCAA is a really deep league, like Division I, and it's a lot younger too. So like a lot of our kids, like me or like Liam Norris, we were older guys. We were juniors and seniors, but we're like 3 or 4 years older than the juniors or seniors on some of those like Wisconsin or North Dakota teams. So it's definitely like a lot younger and a lot faster game. Like the ACHA is a little bit more grinding, like Saskatchewan where I'm from, but NCAA is so much talent, and there's just so many incredible hockey players, nice rinks. Like I wouldn't say the ACHA is not a bad league, but it's just it's a jump for sure. Like it takes a lot of good players to create a league like that. So
when I talked to Coach Powers before the start of that hybrid season, and I said, what are you trying to do with this hybrid season? And he said, well, I want to win, but I also want to develop a program, and I know in order to do both, I'm going to need some guys that A, have experience, and 2, that are a little bit older and can play the style that we need to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you guys did the first year, right?
Yeah, like we definitely struggled wins and losses wise, but like it was so new to everyone, new to the coaches, new to the players. Like we didn't know what to expect. It was a huge step for us. So it's kind of like what I always preach to my teammates like last year and stuff. It doesn't really matter in the end like how good we are as hockey players, especially that year. Like it was more about building the foundation, like bringing like good kids and like being incredible citizens, like being that, like that's what it's built on. So I think a lot of those older guys did an incredible job to pave the way, and just like the ACHA program, it paved its way to a national championship too. It takes a lot of really good kids to kind of go through. It's not easy to lose. It sucks,
right?
And it's not easy for the coaches either. So it takes a lot of integrity and a lot of hard work. And I'm really looking forward to watching them this year because it seems they've turned that corner and coming into things.
I talked to Coach Brown this morning a little bit, and I talked to him about the character that you had to display because now we're into the second year of the program, right? And you make the step back down to ACHA, and the class that you did that with, I thought was incredible. And it had to be an incredibly difficult decision, which really wasn't all yours, right? I mean, It came down to a coach's, players type thing, but
for sure.
What was that like, and how do you go forward, stepping backwards, I guess, and doing it with the class that you did?
It's kind of just what I just said before. Like, in the end, like, we're all hockey players, but we're people. Like, you got to be a good person to be a good hockey player, and winning championships is about winning with like good kids. And I think it was just it was definitely an interesting and different atmosphere for everyone. Like, it was new for Coach Brown. It was a new program essentially coming back into it for some of the D2 kids. So I think being an older kid on the team, I just took the responsibility of like, you got to pave the way again, and you got to show them the right way to do things. And there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And it's pretty easy to have a big head, like anyone coming down a league, but like there's no point. Like, you're not going to gain anything. So it was super cool opportunity to play with my brother as well. Yeah. So like we had guys like Murph and Cooney who came back eventually too, and those are all like some of the best teammates I've ever had. And that success we had last year wouldn't have happened if we didn't have everyone on board and everyone with that positive attitude. So.
And it was a little bittersweet for you with the illness that you came down with right in the middle of the season.
I know.
You guys were absolutely on fire leading up to that. Yeah. And I think, that the guys said it, that they missed you.
Yeah, like that was bizarre. It was like a month and a half, like right when we were getting hot too. I was playing with my brother. We were playing really well together, but like hockey's a sport of adversity. Like, it's not going to not happen. So I think the team did an incredible job. Like, we swept the three games against Oklahoma here at home. Yeah. With some injuries and stuff. So it showed a lot of character for our team. But like I said, there's always ups and downs in hockey. So it's how you take them and how you react after. And I didn't really have a choice. So I was at least happy I could come back and play a couple games before Christmas and then finish off the end of the year with the boys.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your brother. You told me growing up you guys were always different age groups, so you never had a chance to play with him until last year, right?
Right. He's 3 years younger than me. I'm a 92, he's a 95. So every time I'd move like out of a division, he'd move into it. So we'd never actually even played like a practice together, like of course at the outdoor rink or things like that, but never on the same team. So that's probably like the highlight of my career, to be honest with you, to get that opportunity for my parents to see us both on the same team and both at the same rink. That was something super special to me. So not very many people can say they did that, but we're lucky to say we have. So
let's take a quick break and we'll come right back and we'll talk a little bit about ASU and the academic side of it, and we'll talk about your future.
Sure.
All right, we're visiting with the head coach of the ASU Sun Devils. Specifically, one reason today, Coach, we're going to talk a little bit about one of your mainstays from back in the ACHA days and the national championship, who decided to call it a career this week, Ryan Ostertag. So give us some thoughts about not only back then, but currently.
Well, he embodies everything you want. When you're raising a son, he's what you want. He's just an honest, hardworking, high character kid. He's a near 4.0 student. He's obviously a very good hockey player. He was a tremendous teammate. He's everything you want, and I'm honored to be able to say that I was able to coach him for a few years.
Part of the reason that I wanted to do the story on him was he's really a mainstay along with you of getting the ACHA national championship and then making the jump, and then what I thought maybe his biggest character move was being able to handle moving back down again after the first hybrid season. So what was that like for you as a coach to have to talk to somebody like that and reassign him basically?
That was hard. It was hard with kids like him. It's hard with all of them because I love all those guys, and we're here primarily because of that 13-14 national championship team that Ryan was a huge part of. Two goals in the national championship game, and without his efforts and success, we're probably not here today. And I could say that about a handful of kids, and he's definitely in that group. And then obviously he was able to play that hybrid year with us and get some great experience at the NCAA level, and he got it. He was one of those kids that just understood it was time to I guess kind of part ways, if you want to call it that, and he handled it like an absolute champ, just like he handles everything. And we're still close to this day. We went to lunch 2 weeks ago and talked about his future and talked about what his plans were going to be, and he got my feedback, and he's a guy that I'll keep in touch with forever.
I know a lot of people thought that maybe it was the illness that he suffered last year, but he told me when we sat down yesterday was that it really wasn't that. It was more the concussions that he'd had in the past, and he just thought it was time to leave the game healthy. Even though he wanted to play another year with his brother, I know it was important to him. But one of the most unique things that he told me was he didn't even know ASU had a program when he came down here in 2014. So what does that say about your program and where you are now?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, I remember sitting down with Ryan in our old locker room. And it was made out of cardboard and had mold in the walls and mice running across the ground, and he was a guy that believed in the vision, wanted to come here and help us execute it, and he did. So he's the founding father of our program, and he always will be. And when we met for lunch, and he was kind of tussling a little bit, and my advice to him was because of those head injuries, he has nothing left to prove. He came here and he proved everything he needs to prove. He won a national championship, had a huge impact on winning a ring. He played a year of Division I hockey without knowing that was ever going to be on the table, and did some good things in that year. And he has nothing left to prove. There's no reason for him to risk further injury to his brain, and he suffered something with his head really every year he's been here. And he has such a bright future ahead of him professionally, and whatever he decides he wants to do with his life, he's going to be really successful. And there's no reason for him to jeopardize that.
Coach, thank you for your time. I know you got to get back to work, so thanks for stopping and giving us a few words.
Thank you.
All right, we're back visiting with Coach Brown. Coach, I know one of the players that you were hoping to get back this year, you're not going to get back, Ryan Ostertag. So tell me a little bit about Ryan and what he's meant to your program and what it's going to be like not to have him.
Well, Ryan's been a big part of this organization for 4 years, winning a national championship his freshman year. He played on the NCAA team for a year, and then he came back and played with us last year, and he was a huge part of our team, a huge part of our success. I think he had 47 points in 22 games, so he's absolutely ridiculous offensively. So he will be missed, but on the ice, but also in the locker room. All the guys looked up to him. It would have been nice to be in the room this year because of we do have a younger team, and show those guys the right way to do things. He's not here, but we'll make do without him.
One of the things that him and I talked about last year, beginning of the season, was it really takes a lot of character, doesn't it, to step down from an NCAA program, come back to the ACHA program, but yet do it with class. And Ryan did it. I know that he wanted to play with his brother at least another year and didn't get the opportunity to do that. But what's it like for a kid like that to do that?
Well, I think he needs to put his ego aside, and he was able to do that, and he was able to compete and play every day, and he's going to be missed for sure.
Well, we're going to talk to him a little bit tonight, an in-depth interview that I'm doing with him, talking a little bit about what led to this. But we both saw it last year at the beginning of the season when he got the illness and wasn't able to play for you guys. And first and foremost, health comes first, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me a little bit about his style of play. I know everybody that's seen him out here knows his grit, knows his talent, but what's the intangible that made him special?
He's just an offensive threat, and every time he touches the puck, there's a chance it could go in the back of the other team's net. So, we're going to miss that. had a knack for scoring goals and scoring big goals and just doing things that nobody else on the ice could do.
Coach, I appreciate your comments and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're visiting again in the ACHA ASU D1 locker room with assistant coach Chad Bailey. Chad, tell us a little bit about Ryan and how long you've known Ryan and what you've seen him do on the ice and what he's meant for your program.
I've known Ryan for probably about 2 years now. Before I started coaching here, I was working here, and if there's one thing I remember about Ryan, it's that he was always the last to leave the ice. After every practice, he'd just be working on his own game, and I think that says a lot about Ryan, and he will definitely be missed in this locker room.
So you talk about what he's meant to not only your program but to the NCAA program, and really I call it hockey in the Desert Southwest because he's seen both sides of it. He's seen winning that national championship and what that led to, and then he's seen trying to help you guys get back there again. So tell me what that's like as a coach to see a player that works that hard.
It's awesome. It's great to have in the locker room. You could definitely feel the energy when he was here and when he wasn't. That's the kind of character that he brought every day. Was he's here to work and he wants his team to get better as well.
Do you think the players in the locker room right now still feel that, have learned something from him in the time he's been here?
I hope so. I think some of the guys that did know him last year definitely learned a lot from him. He was definitely someone that guys could learn from or they could go to if they had questions on anything at all. Ryan would be there.
You know, one thing with ASU hockey all the way across the board, you guys are one big family, right? From the NCAA team on down, everybody's got a common goal. It's winning. So tell me what Ryan would have meant to that program this year. How much is he going to be missed? Are you guys going to be able to continue to win without him this year?
I think we will. We brought in a lot of new young faces, and I think they will be able to step up to the test. You can't replace a character like Ryan, but I think these guys can come close.
Awesome, Chad. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, we're about a week away from game day, so we're visiting with Austin Ehrlich here at the ASU ACHA D1 locker room. Austin, I want to talk to you today a little bit of a feature I'm doing on Ryan Ostertag and what he meant to your program and to you specifically. So tell me what it's going to be like to have to play the season without him.
Well, he's a great guy. He's a great friend. He's a great leader, great hockey player. You know, I can't say enough about the kid. He came in last year and really boosted us up. And you know, he was obviously our captain, and he leading goal scorer, even though he missed probably half the season. So it's going to be tough without him. Like I said, he's a great friend, but overall, we're looking for a national championship this year, and anything less is unacceptable.
So last year when you had Ryan for the first half of the season, you guys were on fire, playing really well, got some big wins, and then he got his illness and suffered the illness, I should say, and you had to play with him for the second half of the season. What kind of changes did you see, or what did you miss most about him?
Well, like I said, his goal production is definitely a big thing. He scored the big goals at the big time, so that was tough. When he got sick, we all were just, hoping that he got better, not only for, the hockey team, but for him personally. And, to see him ill as a friend, it obviously hurts. But it was tough without him second year. Like I said, we had a real good first semester, but second semester we kind of dropped off and just tried to keep going. But he was a big leader on our team, and that definitely hurt us in the second semester.
Is there anything specifically that you think, a memory that you can think of with Ryan on the ice that sticks with you?
There's so many, but I just remember how many goals he would score, and he would do these crazy things on the ice where like the puck would be in his skates and you think he's overskating the puck, and then he'd somehow kick it up to his stick. He's just an incredible hockey player, and I'm definitely going to miss playing with him.
Austin, thanks for your time and good luck this weekend against UNLV.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, we spent the first segment talking hockey. Let's talk a little bit about academics, and let's talk a little bit about ASU, and let's talk a little bit about what Ryan Ostertag is going to do in the future.
Sure. Right now, it's kind of a weird time for me. Just made the decision a couple days ago, so just adjusting to not going to the rink every day, and yeah, it's been different, but trying to keep busy. I can be a full student for a year, which is kind of cool to focus on academics. I'm really proud of academics, and I like to learn, so that's a big thing for me. And I've been doing a lot of golfing, so
there you go.
Find me on the golf course. The
Great
last
place
few days,
to be to play golf, right?
I tell you, this place has got everything. So yeah.
So tell me what's the major? What are you working towards?
Business communication major. Got a couple certificates in there in leadership and stuff like that. But there's not really like a specific position that I'm working towards. I like working with people, so anytime I can get in a situation like working with accounts or working with people and managing people, that's something that I'd be interested in. But I hopefully get a couple of internships while I'm still here over this semester and next semester, and then head home at the end of May when I graduate and find something back there. So
tell me this: coaching, scouting, anything like that ever come into your mind at this point, or if it happens, it happens?
If it happens, it happens. I think at this point, so quickly removed from the game, it's been like a few days.
Yeah.
I just want to get away from the rink and just find life away from hockey for a bit. But I've always thought about coaching for sure. Hockey's it's all I've had since I've been a kid. It's what I put a lot of time and effort into. So I feel like, just like we talked about before, passing your knowledge on to like even freshmen or sophomore, like younger kids, it'd be cool. I love kids, so one day I'll probably jump back into it with kids. But for now, just walking away from the game, just proud of what I've done, and maybe come back at another point in time.
So you're gone for the game for a couple days, and then I drag you back into the arena.
No, that's okay. The rink will always be my home for sure.
So we're getting to that point right now. You got how much time left till you graduate?
Till May. So
it'd be this whole year.
I have full class load this semester and then just a couple the next semester. But I want to get an internship, like I said.
So tell us what it's like as a student at Arizona State. I mean, we talk so much about the hockey here on this end of it, but being a student here is kind of cool too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't know, like once the NCAA team gets a rink and like everything, they're more established, like it's impossible for a kid from Canada to come down here and say no. Like it's the best campus that I've ever seen, and I got to see some cool ones on the NCAA team, even on the ACHA team, seeing some traveling around. But like the amount of people, like biggest school in the country, like you can golf every day, you can literally do whatever you want. Like there's pool parties every day. Like you can find yourself something that you love, and it's to put it into perspective, it's where all my friends from back home come to vacation, and I go to school here. So like
nothing wrong with that, right?
It's tough to put it into perspective, but I'm super fortunate that I ended up here and saw the things and did the things that I did.
Ryan, let's wrap it up with your overview of hockey in the desert Southwest. Coming from Canada, you know, I grew up in northern Minnesota, so I know exactly what that's like. I've been to those Canadian small towns, Western Canada, Central Canada, so I know what that's like. But over the last 4+ years that you've been here, tell me what it's been like to see the growth of hockey.
Yeah, like that's been something else that's so cool in itself. Like we won a national championship, and that might have put us on the map a little bit, but I don't know if that's like the determining factor of everything. Like compared my freshman year to right now, we're at the rink, like kids involved in hockey, and just like the want of kids like to be involved in the sport. I think it's just grown so much, and like we've gone to an NCAA program. Vegas is moving up into ACHA Div 1, and we have a new NHL team here in Vegas. So like it's come miles in just the 4 years that I've been here. It's been really cool to see that growth and see the people like Arizona's not really known as a hockey hotbed, and like the weather, I don't know, the people, I don't know what the determinant is, but it's really changing, and it's really like a new hot commodity here. Like hockey's a sport that kids want to play, and like it's incredible that we got to see that transformation. You
know, one of the things that I've seen over the last couple of years is Grand Canyon now has exploded. ASU's got a women's team. Grand Canyon's got a women's team.
I didn't even say any of that.
And we've got, Grand Canyon now has like 47 players playing ACHA D2 and D3 hockey over there. So all of this has happened in a time here. And I always look back to not only you, but Coach Powers as well, as that turning the corner. I mean, that banner that I see hanging on the other end of the rink over there is something that you're always going to be able to come back here and say, hey, I was a part of.
For sure. Like I said, just being a part of those initial years. Like I came in when the ACHA program was running like full steam ahead. Like it was national championship or bust. And that's probably what it's going to be like for both the NCAA program and the ACHA program coming up. So I don't think even very many other schools can say that. And like you mentioned, GCU, NAU, like any of those schools, they're ramping their programs up too, UNLV, and it'll be neat to see in the next, like, we'll come back in like 10 years and maybe see a game of ASU versus UNLV at ASU. Like, who would have thought that?
Right.
It's pretty sweet to see. So
let's wrap it up with giving you a chance to talk to the Sun Devil faithful, the people of Arizona. And you can tell them directly into the camera what your 4 years have meant to be here and be a part of it.
Man, that's hard to put into words. It really is. It's indescribable. Like, my time here has been, I'm just so thankful for everyone, for the fans, the teammates, the media. Like, everyone's made this like a second home to me, and it'll always be somewhere that I come back to and literally have nothing but positive thoughts. So the kids that I've coached, like, thank you to them. Like, they've really put things into perspective. The coaches that I've had, the teammates, like, I've been so lucky just to be a part of this transformation, this program, and it's something that I'm really so passionate about, but so excited to say that I was a part of. Like, so yeah, just thank you to everyone. I can't say it enough, and I can't put everyone's name on the list, but thank you.
So I have to say one last thing, since
Sure.
this is going to air right before the first of our feature games and
Right.
the first games at home.
Okay.
How difficult is it going to be to come down here and see this game between UNLV and ASU and you not being on the ice?
Yeah, I would be lying if I said a couple of tears haven't been shed the last few days. It's emotional. Like, it's never easy when you dedicate the majority of your life to something and have to walk away from it. But I think I hope that I've left a legacy enough that this on the players and the organization that it left on me, and that was my goal. And I think I can honestly say that I gave everything I had to the program. So it'll be impossible probably for the next couple months to come to the rink and see somewhere where I could be playing, but also super excited for some new guys to get some opportunities. And yeah.
Well, I think I speak from everybody in the Desert Southwest in saying that you're a class act. We really hate to see you go, but we understand where the decision came from, and we hope you hang around here a long time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words, and I thank you so much for always being so good to me too. Like, it means a lot. So it'll be tough to go, but I'll still be here. I'm still here for the year, so we got lots of time.
All right, well, we're going to pin you down a few more times.
For sure. That
Thanks,
sounds
Ryan.
good.
I appreciate it.
No problem.